Doctor Who, Terror of the Autons, the fifth story of the third Doctor, is written by Robert Holmes and starring John Pertwee, Katie Manning, Nicholas Courtney, Richard Franklin and John Levine. So yeah, this is the first story of Season 8 and it's the first introduction to the Master, Joe Grant and Captain Mike Yates. And the Autons got brought back because they are popular. The title was going to be The Spray of Death, but obviously changed to Terror of the Autons. Barry Letts and Terrence Dicks needed to add new characters because they thought that the Doctor and the Brigadier are like Sherlock Holmes and John Watson, so they chose carefully to create the Master, taking inspiration from Moriarty. So the story begins at the circus where the horse box got materialised. So Luigi, no, there we go, went to investigate, and we get a great introduction of the Master as he steps out, and yeah, that's the Master's TARDIS disguised itself as a horse box.
I am usually referred to as the Master.
Oh, is that so?
Universally.
So the Master used his hypnotized powers on Luigi, and they both went to National Space Museum to steal a Nestine energy that was left after the events of Spearhead from Space. I love the Doctor singing the TARDIS and the smoke comes out. And the Doctor went out carrying a dematerialization circuit and placed it on the three-legged item. So Joe Grant came in and his experiment went in flames, so Joe used his fire extinguisher and sprayed it, which made the Doctor frustrated as she ruined the experiment. The Doctor thinks that Joe is a tea lady, but then thinking she's an intruder, but it reveals that she's the Doctor's new assistant.
The Brigadier sent me along to introduce myself, Doctor. Josephine Grant.
How do you do, Miss Grant?
So Brigadier introduced her and said that Liz Shaw is in Cambridge, as the Doctor didn't need her. So meanwhile, the Master went inside the Beacon Hill telescope control and using a device to shrink Googe to death. Because the Doctor, Brigadier and Joe have got the reports that a couple of scientists disappeared, they investigate the radio telescope. The Doctor goes up to the control and a Time Lord in a suit materialised in the sky, telling him about the Master is on Earth, so the Doctor managed to get through the door and defuse the bomb. So Mike Yates and the director came in, and it's scary to see the tiny Googe's corpse.
It's Googe.
While the Doctor tells Joe what Nestines are, the Master hypnotised Farrell, so Joe hid where the bins are and she accidentally drops small boxes, and there's the Master staring at her, so he hypnotised her, and in the end of part 1, Joe's order is to open the box and blow up the unit HQ. So the Doctor threw out the window and blew up under the water, so the Doctor got Joe to sit down. The Master gave McDermott an inflatable plastic chair. As he sat on it, the Master and Farrell watched McDermott getting suffocated to death, which is horrifying. So later, Farrell's father came in and sad to hear McDermott is dead. He was thinking that something isn't right. His son wasn't traumatized and he didn't like the Master. He managed to resist the hypnotizing, so he drove home after the Master placed a hideous looking doll inside his car. As he drives, luckily he turns the heater off and the doll stops moving. So Joe recovered from being hypnotized. The Doctor goes to circus. Joe Grant is frustrated that she gets treated like a child. So Mike advised her to do what the Brigadier says, so the Doctor gets tied up on the chair by Luigi with a strong guy Tony standing behind him. The Doctor gets questioned. It's scary that Rex's dad gets killed by a plastic doll and his wife sees his corpse. Joe phones Brigadier on where the Doctor is, so Joe knocks Tony out and set the Doctor free, and he nicks a dematerialisation circuit from the Master. So then there's crowds fighting the Doctor and Joe, but the two policemen took the Doctor and Joe away in the car, and Brigadier plans to bail them out. It's so intense when Sergeant Benson said it's not the real police car. The moment when the Doctor and Joe realise they're heading to a quarry, he asked the policeman for ID. So a policeman turned around, so the Doctor took his mask off and it reveals to be an Auton. My god, that's scary.
I see your warrant card.
It makes me wonder how they're going to get out of this, driven by an Auton. I do love John Pertwee as the third Doctor. He's awesome, my favourite classic Doctor. Katie Manning as Joe Grant is great as well. Barry Letts came up with a way of replacing Liz Shaw and wanting this companion to be younger and more naive, describing her that she's not a scientist, though with enough basic background to understand what's going on, and giving what John Pertwee wanted, a father figure, and the character taking inspiration from Jamie McCrimmon and Victoria Waterfield. So Barry Letts and Terrence Dicks went to find the actress they were considering: Yuda Stinsko, Shakira Baksh, Jenny McCracken, Shell Hall, Gabriel Drake for the role, and Rula Lenska and Aninska Hempel auditioned. So John Pertwee found Katie Manning in the BBC TV Centre lobby, and who she wasn't known at the time, so John told Barry that he found a perfect actress, which is nice, an amazing choice. John Pertwee and Katie Manning's chemistry are one of the best things in this era. I do like Richard Franklin as Captain Mike Yates, who works at unit with Brigadier. He's dead canny. Nicholas Courtney and John Levine are great as Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart and Sergeant Benton. Roger Delgado as the Master, an evil Time Lord, the Doctor's best enemy, is fantastic. More than words can say. He's a close friend to John Pertwee. Sadly, his death was one of the reasons why John left the show. Michael Wisher played Rex Farrell, who's a head of Farrell Plastics after his father, like Norman Harry Osborn, becoming the boss in Oscorp. Rex's dad's John Farrell, played by Stephen Jack, who's the founder of Farrell Plastics. Barbara Leake played Mary Farrell, Rex's mum and John's wife. David Garth played a Time Lord who apparently is Adelphi, who appears in the War Games, played by Trevor Martin. The casts did a great job with their roles. I do love the music by Dudley Simpson. He does a lot of great music. And I always love the Autons. They're bloody scary. They do have great idea, like getting anything made of plastic moving, like daffodils, doll and telephone wires. So the Doctor fights the Autons, so him and Joe got out the car with an intense moment, getting chased by two Autons. So Brigadier Mike and the Soldier came, as Soldier got killed, and Mike managed to knock an Auton down the cliff, so everyone got away. As you can see, the running scene on the quarry, Katie Manning actually hurt her leg, which looks painful, and Nicholas Courtney was ill on his first day, so he gets replaced by a stuntman in the quarry scenes. When Mike knocks an Auton down the cliffs, the stunt guy was injured, but he got back to his feet in one take. Man, he's a fighter. So back in the units, they have a meeting on what's going on lately. There's walking dolls delivering daffodils to people. So after the Doctor speaks to Mary Farrell, he examines a plastic doll in the lab. We get an intense moment where the doll was attacking Joe, but it's lucky that Mike stopped it by shooting at it. So as the Master phones the Doctor, the wires tangled the Doctor up, so the Brigadier saved him, and I like his gag when he says he cut his connection. Oh, that's actually a good one there. So after testing the daffodil, it's pretty scary when it's sprayed foil on Joe. So the Doctor got it off. He works out how the daffodils kill people. It dissolves the foil by carbon dioxide. So after Joe leaves the Doctor, he meets the Master, planning to use tissue compression eliminator on the Doctor, so Joe walked in. So later the Master drove the Doctor and Joe in the field where the unit soldiers are. The Doctor and Joe did a great stunt jumping out of the coach. So we get a battle scene with Autons, and poor scientist got pushed off from the radio telescope and fell to his death. The Master tries to summon the Nesting Consciousness. After the machine explodes, Nesting Consciousness disappeared and Autons are deactivated. The Master escaped, so in the end Master surrendered, but he tries to shoot the soldiers, but he got shot, and it turns out to be Rex in the Master's mask, hypnotized.
I told you not to be too sure.
Look out!
So the Master got away, and the Doctor has the Master's dematerialization circuit, so he's trapped on Earth. I really enjoyed that story, really scary. What did you think? Drop your thoughts on the comments down below. Thanks people, as always, for watching, and see you in the next video.